Giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, as well as the men that taught them, and peace and blessings unto the 144,000, as well as the rest of the elect. This is Brother Taza Pai here with another lesson. And this lesson, we're going to kick this off right here in the book of Obadiah, right at the first verse. All right, this is Obadiah, verse 1. The vision of Obadiah, thus said the Lord power concerning Edom, all right? Now, if you follow Great Millstone, you know good and well who Edom is. But for those of you who may be new to this thing of ours, all right? Edom, Esau, all right, are the so-called white people, all right? So you got Esau, who was the brother of our forefather Jacob, all right? They were twin brothers, Esau and Jacob. And when you read in Genesis, it tells you, Genesis chapter 25, that the first came out red, all right, all over like a hairy garment. And that was Esau Edom. He was the firstborn of Isaac and Rebekah, all right? And so after him came out his brother Jacob, which is our forefather, all right? But now Esau went on to be the progenitor, the forefather of the Edomites. The Edomites are the so-called white people today. All right. Well, and it's not strictly relegated to a color, but predominantly they are the so-called white people. All right. So this is who we're talking about. But yes, they have went throughout the world spreading their seed, and they got, children all over the world. It looks like the other nations, just like we have in Israel. Okay, so, all right, when you speak about Edomites, first and foremost, you're talking about a lineage, a bloodline, all right, a seed, all right, before it's a color. But predominantly, they are the red man in the earth, all right? They call themselves white, but if you've been around them, you know that they're red. All right, so this is the vision of the Most High concerning the red man, Edom. All right, so the vision of Obadiah, thus said the Lord power concerning Edom, you so-called white people. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. All right, arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. And that's coming. The battle is coming against Edom. It says, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. And do we not see that today? All right. You got, Edomites all over the world are despised, especially here in America and Israel. All right. But all throughout Europe, all right, why do you think is upheavals, uproars, and riots and chaos worldwide? Why do you think that is? All right? Because you're talking about people, when you talk about these lands, all right, like in the Middle East, they've been there forever. All right? Millennium. They've been there for millennium and been getting along. Why is it so much chaos now? South America, they was out, the Northern Kingdom was down there having, they wasn't they wasn't upright all the way, but it wasn't this. It wasn't what you see today. In Europe. We had order in Europe. When I say we, I mean the black nobility. In other words, the in the Byzantine Empire under the so-called blacks, all right? But my point is, people been getting along. Why are they not getting along now, all right? And if you don't know the answer to that, you can go to Job chapter 9, verse 24, all right? And it explains why, there's so much, wickedness, evil and wickedness in the world. Let's go here. This explains it Also, all right, but yeah, you can go to Job chapter 9, verse 24. Now, this is Malachi chapter 1, verse 1. It says, the burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi. All right, the burden of the word of the Lord. All right, that's that bitterness spoken of in Ezekiel. You know, this word, the burden of this word is, when you receive it, is sweet, and your mouth is sweet as honey. All right, but then in your belly is bitter. All right, your belly is where this word is broken down, the belly of your spirit. All right, when you have a full understanding of this word. All right, and with me saying a full understanding, that means you understand your purpose. You know, you understand your duties. And that's what I mean by full understanding. So you understand that you got to walk a life or walk a walk of truth when you understand, all right? You know that the Lord hates a hypocrite. And even more, he hates a quitter, all right? So it's a lot to understand, you know, because you have to understand your task in this. There's one thing, you know some breakdowns and you understand some prophecies, but if you're not applying it in your life, you really don't understand. You truly don't understand until you walking and living in this word. All right? That's what displays your understanding, your anistrophe, or your conversation, how you conduct yourself. All right? So, all right. Yeah, so the burden of the word is, you know, that's the same burden of the word that we have today. All right, to prophesy to the world. But it says here, verse 2, I have loved you, said the Lord, yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Which we just broke down, right? All right. So was not Esau Jacob's brother? Said the Lord, yet I loved Jacob. So the Lord is showing favoritism here. All right. He has a favorite. He said, yet he loved Jacob. All right. Because the righteous is more excellent than his neighbor. All right. And Jacob was the righteous. He is, well, he was then, and he still is now, the righteous. And Esau being the wicked, he was then, and he is now. All right? Now get this. Verse 3, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus said the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness. So this is why you're seeing chaos in Venezuela. You're seeing chaos all over throughout the Middle East. All right, Gaza, Qatar, Yemen, Syria, still. Doggone it, Libya still, you know, and that's up in Africa. But a lot of Africa is on fire, you know, with these riots and uproars, you know. And this because the Edomites are bearing rule. All right. So thus said the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness. All right. And the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever. All right. And here is now, we come to the time, the very time, where the Most High's indignation for these people is come to a head. It's time for them to receive it. The Lord had been holding back that indignation, but now it's time for them to receive it. He's holding his tongue no longer as concerning the wickedness of Esau, Edom. All right? It's time to pay the piper. And you know what time of prophecy we in? We're in the part where the Most High said that they would be in delusion. All right? He said when he is about to fill his belly, well, we can get that later if time allows. But the Most High said when he is, well, the Most High said he was going to rain the destruction on him while he is eating. And that, but before that, yeah, it said he would be in straits. All right? And this is where the white man is right now. He's in straits. All right? He has his AI, has the platform, and the infrastructure. Like the AI platform and infrastructure in place, these towers and everything good to go. Why he ain't coming with it? All right? Because the Most High got a spirit on the people, as pertaining to Daniel 2, that this is the kingdom of miry clay and iron. It's not going to mix. The people are not with this bullshit. I don't care how you try to slide it up under the table and dress it up. Everybody's not a Babylonian. And you can pull that shit in Babylon, but some of them countries in Europe, down at the shit, in Africa especially, Ham be on it. Cause they, well, Ham be on his shit as far as, well, really that be Jake though. That be, they'll know at least two languages, because that's how they do business. When you do business, you can't just know your language. You got to be able to deal with people, and that's how they are educated. All right, they understand that commerce is tied to language, or being able to communicate. That's how you do successful business, is through successful communication. All right, and so you have to, if you're doing business with Arabs, you don't think that's going to win you over if you speak their language, or get you browning points or whatever. Or the same with Moab. That's how you do business. But yeah, that's just, Ham. I'm just saying that other people around the world, they're not as clueless as people in Babylon are. So they're not going along with this. And they will, and they don't even have the armory that we have here in America, like at least here in Texas and other states. These people here got guns in Texas. It's goddamn ridiculous. But yeah, what the fuck are they doing with it? And them people, you look at like France, they don't have arms. But yet let them smell something afoul, all right? And they'll just get shit. If they got to take a pitchfork, But I'm just saying, what's wrong with people here in America, man? What y'all got all these weapons and shit for? And everybody in America is tough. But look at y'all, led about like fucking sheep. But everybody here is tough. Everybody can kick everybody's ass here in America. But you won't lift a fucking finger against this goddamn tyrannical government. This rogue, runaway, tyrannical government. Y'all just sitting on your fucking asses. You get sick of Babylon, man, and these fucking Babylonians. No count mother. So the Lord said, Malachi 1:4, whereas Edom says we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus said the Lord of hosts. They shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever. Period. Ain't no changing. Your emotions is not going to change the Most High's mind. How you feel, when you talk, oh, that ain't right, and why the Lord, that's going to get you killed. And rightfully so. So when we read in Obadiah, all right, verse 2, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. Right, because this man is the border of fucking wickedness. And everybody see it, except people here, they want to cry for CK, Calvin Klein, you know. Damn, we get shot, you know. And you know, not even to make it a tit for tat. But yeah, I'm tired of our lives not being worth shit here. And I mean, they can kill a wicked Edomite, and they can pretty much get the same result. Especially out of niggas, will pretty much get the same result. But you kill a good black man, and oh well, you know, life goes on. You know, I'm sick of this shit. So the Lord had made this man greatly despised, small among the heathen, and greatly despised. We see that now. You couldn't tell me nothing in the 80s. Esau was winning in the 80s. He was winning in the 60s. Well, from 50s, 60s, and then 69, at the end of the era of the decade of the 60s, 1969, he started going down. All right, they got songs about 1969. Rod Stewart, Hotel California talk about, you know, they... somebody wanted some wine, and then the porter said we hadn't had that spirit here since 1969. You know, they put it in the songs. But that was their pinnacle, and from then they started going down. All right, started. But then they enjoyed the 70s. They enjoyed the 80s. And then because of rap, in the 90s, Jake started to come up, you know. You had just ghetto Jake starting to get money. Yeah, you had Jake with money before, but you had to be a doctor, a lawyer, or a straight-up drug dealer. But now in the 90s, you know, the door opened up for Jake to make money, but you had to sell out, you know. You had to sell out. But anyway, we see that this man, he was greatly loved. You know, all them decades. Our people marched to sit at the goddamn the diner at the counter with him and withstood attacks so that they can ride on the bus next to this devil. Tell me he wasn't loved. Well, you took ass whoopings so you could drink out the same water fountain with this goddamn devil. All right? That was my parents' generation. And grandparents. So I know that this man was loved. So now when I look throughout the world, I see the scriptures being fulfilled. This man is greatly despised. And it says, the pride of thine heart had deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, whose habitation is high, that said in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? All right? Yeah, who? Who gonna do it? I wonder who. Isaiah chapter 47, verse 1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne. O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. And this is talking about Babylon, the virgin daughter of Babylon, which you know as America. All right. Now, we was reading about Esau, Edom, and Obadiah. So what does that have to do with Babylon? Because Babylon is Esau's crown jewel of success. This is his cash cow. Why do you think the Most High is so distraught, just mad, for lack of a better word? Why do you think the Most High is livid at this place? All right? Because Esau, Edom, and the things that they have done in this land. All right? So the Most High is mad at Edom and the land. That's why 200 million nuclear missiles are coming to this place. All right? So the Lord saying, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne. O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Take the millstones and grind meal, uncover thy locks. Make bare the leg, uncover the thigh. Pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. So this is letting you know who this is talking about. None other than our Lord, Yahushua. Here it is, verse 4. As for our Redeemer, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, Lord of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. So he's going to do it, you proud bastard. All right? Back in Obadiah, verse 4. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, said the Lord. Right, and that's what he's done. He's made his habitations high. You know, he got his space stations and satellites and all, literally. All right, so this is figurative and literal. He's a pompous bastard. All right, who's under the prince of the power of the air, so he literally is up there. You know? And verse 5 says, if thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Right? Would they not have stolen until, or would they have not stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? Yeah, by the Most High and the prophets. All right, Amos 3 and 6, it tells you that. Let's get that on point. Because the point is actually in 7, all right? But I'm going to start at 6. Amos chapter 3, verse 6. Which says, shall a trumpet be blown in the city? And that trumpet is the prophets. All right? But it's making an analogy about actual trumpet and comparing it to the prophets, because the prophets are a trumpet. We are to lift up our voices like the trumpets. We are the Most High's early warning system. All right? We are, in essence, his trumpets. All right? So shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city, and the Lord had not done it? Surely the Lord's power will do nothing, but he revealed his secret unto his servants, the prophets. So this is how the hidden things of Esau are searched out. First of all, the Most High sees it. He sees you. And then, what he wants us to know, he tells us. All right, then we got to tell the world. right, he don't tell us just to gossip. He telling us so it could be broadcast, published throughout the world. All right. So that's how the hidden things of Esau are sought up. And it says here, verse 7, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. All right. Now, if you watch the daily lunch specials, all last week, I've been on the third woe all last week. And it was Thursday. I believe it was last Thursday. It possibly could have been Friday. But I had reported how the UN General Assembly voted overwhelmingly that there should be a two-state resolution, all right, in Gaza. All right, now over the weekend, Britain came out, the Prime Minister, I forget his, Starmer, the Prime Minister of Britain, Starmer, he came out and said that basically they need the war needs to end. All right, let's look at it.
This morning, some of America's closest allies are parting ways with President Trump and Israel over the war in Gaza. The UK, Canada,
the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border.
Australia, Portugal, and others now say they will recognize a Palestinian state for the first time, calling for an end of the war in Gaza and the release of all hostages.
In the face of the growing horror in the Middle East, we are acting to keep alive the possibility of peace and a two-state solution.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu slamming the move, calling it a reward for terrorism, going on to say bluntly, it will not happen. A Palestinian state will not be established west of the Jordan River. Netanyahu saying during a cabinet meeting Sunday that he plans to meet privately with President Trump during the UN General Assembly this week. Trump opposes recognizing a Palestinian state, but overnight on Air Force One said this.
I'd like to see a diplomatic solution. There's a lot of anger and a lot of hatred, you know that. And there has been for a lot of years. This is not something new, but hopefully we'll get something new. We're studying Gaza and dealing with Gaza very strongly. That's a real mess.
The UN General Assembly voted to allow the president of Palestine to address the gathering of world leaders. His speech will happen virtually after the Trump administration declined to grant him a visa. As President Trump gets set to address hundreds of world leaders at the UN General Assembly on Tuesday, law enforcement is rethinking and expanding security. ABC News joining NYPD counterterrorism officers as they patrolled the streets near the UN headquarters in New York and saw the hundreds of armored SUVs used to shuttle dignitaries around the city.
It's a lot of cars. Yeah. I mean, the logistics piece that goes with this national special security event is huge. This is just one piece of it.
Law enforcement say they plan to deploy more drones than ever, alongside thousands of officers and federal agents on the ground, in the air, and on the water. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
So as you can see, America and Israel are insulating and isolating themselves from the rest of the world because of this foolish campaign, all right, to take our land, take over our land, all of our land, in which they know it don't belong to them, all right? At least, up at the top, they know. But yeah, it says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. All right. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is no understanding in him. So you about to see America and Israel, all right, get set up. Because these are the Edomites that are hated the most. All right? You can feel how you want to feel about Russia. They are not the ones that are oppressing the world. All right? So that's going to rise up a confederacy. These other nations, possibly some Edomites mixed in with them, to come against, the powers that be. All right, it said, verse 9, and thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. Every one of the Edomites, all right? And that's from America to Europe, Spain, Russia, all of Edom. All right? So if you look right now, America, yeah. And see who are they confederate with? Outside of Edomites. Hamas. What's the Houthis. Hezbollah. All these terrorist organizations they were in league with. Or were at one point in time confederate with. So you had these Arab nations rising up, and we was going to report last Thursday about the Arab. They're forming, or they're looking to form, wanting to form a UN-like union, all right, of all the Arabs, all the Ishmaelites. Moab, is not America in league with Moab, the so-called Chinese? How you think they came up? From a country riding bicycle and pulling them goddamn wheelbarrows, the people riding in the wheelbarrow and the guy pulling the wheelbarrow down the street, to being the top technological, powerhouse in the world. How you do that in just 20, 30 years? How do you do that? Over America. Right, because America was confederate with you and gave you them under the Clinton administration, gave you all them secrets. So China was confederate with these people. And they already looking to bust some Edomite heads. Matter of fact, China is over here. They own maybe half, if not more, of America. I don't know. But can't nobody tell me that China does not have stake here in America, all right, in its infrastructure. So these are the men, Ishmael, Moab, Ammon, and then ultimately us, going back to Job, every hand of the wicked shall be upon him. All right, and that's us. The wicked are the laborers, the sufferers. All right, so everybody gonna get a piece of this devil's head in due time. All right, but yeah, that was just a little bit on that, man. Things are moving fast. It's hard to keep up. You got to keep moving. All right, to the next one, y'all stay up. Much love. Shalom.